Hi, and welcome to Say Grace, Food for Thought and Hospitality. I'm Steve Palmer, and I invite you to join me as we explore the stories behind leaders in the hospitality industry and beyond. Say Grace is a place to reflect, connect, and savor thoughtful narratives. Everyone has a seat at our table. So pull up a chair and let's discover the transformative power of hospitality together. Hey, and welcome to Say Grace, where we unpack all things hospitality by the people that create, execute, cook, and deliver every single day. I'm super honored to be here in Nashville. I'm going to read your bio now, Max.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Max Goldberg, co-owner, Strategic Hospitality, Nashville, Tennessee. Max is the co-owner of Strategic Hospitality, the company behind many of Nashville's most celebrated restaurant and bars. The Patterson House, the Catbird Seat, the Bandbox, the Country Club at First Horizon Park, Bastion, Henrietta Red, Locust, Baby Chan, multiple venues in the Nashville airport, Kitty Hawk, Eat, Drink, Voodoo Donut, the Titan Press Box, the Music City Shop, and recently announced Sally's Stay a While. Strategic Hospitality also proudly operates Friends in Low Places Bar and Honky Tonk, owned by Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, which opened in November of 2023. Founded in 2006 as a two-person operation, Strategic Hospitality has grown into a leading hospitality group employing over 500 people. Max is deeply engaged with the hospitality community, serving on the boards of Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau, Oz Arts Nashville, the Community Foundation, the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce, and most recently, the Tennessee State Workforce Development Board. He is a member of the YPO organization, Urban Land Institute, and a 2016 graduate of Leadership Nashville, and a part of the 2019 Henry Crown Fellows with the Aspen Global Leadership Network at the Aspen Institute. And I want to talk about that because that made me really curious. In 2013, Max was recognized of Forbes 30 Under 30, followed by the Nashville Business 40 Under 40. Now we need 50 under 50 in 2016, and Power 100 in 2015, 16, 17, 18, 2023, 24. In 2023, Strategic Hospitality was honored as the Next Award Market Leaders in Real Estate, Hospitality, and Construction. In 2024, Max starred in the Amazon Prime docuseries Friends in Low Places, Building the Oasis, providing an insider's view to the creation and of the bar and honky tonk. Additionally, he was recognized by Robb Report as one of the 10 rising power players in American fine dining. The Goldberg brothers nomination for 2015, 16, 28 through 20, and 25 of James Beard Outstanding Restaurateur Award attests to their entrepreneurial drive, innovative ideas, focus on exceptional customer service within each of their establishments. In 2025, the recognition also extends to chef partner Josh Habiger, further highlighting Strategic Hospitality commitment to excellence in hospitality. Woo! Welcome, wow. Max.
I'm so uncomfortable and pumped up at the same time, man. Thank you so much. What an intro.
Yeah.
Can you just join me every morning to get my day started? And
every morning I'll say, good morning, Max.
Thank
you are the recipient.
I appreciate it. Oh, well, great to be here with you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for saying yes. How did you find food? How did you find this? I always start by asking everybody, how did you find the wonderful place that we find ourselves making a living in?
For me, it was really about job creation. Going back to 2007, when Benjamin and I partnered up together. Previously, I was living in New York and had a great job there, a great career path, an unbelievably wonderful girlfriend who I'm now proudly married to. But it wasn't really passing the mirror test. I kind of look at myself and what I was doing and where priorities were, and it was great, but it wasn't where I saw myself ultimately wanting to be. And so the opportunity to partner up with my brother who had founded this company and go back to a city that we grew up in and deeply care about, I thought, well, New York City is fantastic. It can always be there, but let's try to partner up and do something really special. And so 18 and a half years ago, on August 1st, took every penny I'd made in New York, which wasn't a ton, and bought half of what my brother had at that point so we could partner up and be 50-50 partners. and couldn't afford a car and walked to work every day. And my wife reminds me that I'd leave at 9 a.m. and come home at 4 a.m. and just learn the industry because I didn't have any business being in it. I mean, I'm talent adjacent. I'm so lucky to be surrounded by these incredible people. And so what got me into it was really job creation. But the more I've thought about hospitality, it really was always in my blood. Like I just truly cherish relationships and love people. And I love what we do. And I think we have the most world-class, incredible chefs that I'm so lucky to work with. But I really do look at food and drink as a vehicle for conversation at times and how we need those spaces to do those things. And so for me, how did I get into food? It was really about job creation in my hometown. And we never thought we'd scale to where we are now and get to meet the people that we've met and do the things we're doing. So I jump out of bed excited to be able to work with these people. And, you know, growing up, my brother and I would have parties and have friends. And then in college, I had a party promotions business. That's a whole nother story that was really one of my first businesses. And then I was student body president and had a budget to actually bring in these great events. And then when I went to New York, I missed that hospitality. And so my cousin Jesse and I actually hosted a DJ night at this place called St. Jerome's. And it was just an excuse to get our friends together. And it was great. So I think hospitality has always been in my blood. And at 23 years old, to be able to partner up with my brother and try to do something special for our hometown of Nashville was really my motivation.
That's strong, though. 23. I didn't own my first restaurant until 40. You know, and what was the first place? Talk about that.
So it's kind of a fun story. I'm still in that building today, which is kind of wild to think about. But
wow.
The first thing was a business my brother had created that I got to partner in, which was Paradise Park, which was a trailer park themed honky tonk on Lower Broadway. We had $6 pitchers of beer. It's common now, but we were revolutionary at the time. That we were hand patting burgers, fresh cooked bread, slicing great vegetables, hand making our chicken tenders. And it just became kind of this fan favorite for Nashville. And we had the opportunity to actually buy that building. And then during COVID, it almost bankrupted us, which is a whole nother story. We were able to get through that and then had the great fortune of getting to know Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood, who were two of the greatest human beings I've ever met. And they ended up buying the building from us with an agreement that we'd help them open their new business, which was Friends in Low Places. And it's just been one of the greatest rides of my life. But here I am 18 and a half years later, still walking those same steps. Although Garth definitely did a huge renovation that we get to be a part of, but
right.
That staircase is still there. And I couldn't even imagine the amount of miles I put on that thing.
Wow. Did you find, as you guys said, okay, let's do number 2? Because I talk to a lot of chefs that oversee multiples, GMs. What was the inspiration to grow at that point? Was it business? Was it Was it just a creative idea? What was number 2?
So for us, especially the first 10 years, and we've pivoted since then, but the first 10 years, they were very selfish endeavors of what we saw maybe didn't exist in the market or places we'd want to go. And so for the first 10 years, that was really our North Star of, well, what doesn't really exist here that we think could be fun? And that's what helped us create a great membership club and a private event space.
Pinewood Social.
So that was actually the spot back in the day. So Pinewood Social was a different one,
okay.
Which came a little bit later, but it was such a fun ride to be able to create these spaces. And then we saw this really cool thing happening in the cocktail movement. And we thought, well, let's try to maybe bring that to Nashville. And so we were able to open up the Patterson House, which we've since moved and is in this new building and has just been such a cool little incubator for us of talent as well. So really selfish ambitions of what we wanted to do. And then we got to know these incredible people like Josh Habiger and Brian and Lena and Trevor and Julia, and have these opportunities to say, well, what do you guys want to do and what do you want to open? And then actually partner with them and give them real equity to be partners with us in businesses that they own. And that's kind of what we've been doing for the past 8 years. And it's been unbelievably fun, successful, and we get to grow with the people that we've been working with for a long time.
What's it like for you to see Nashville? I mean, we opened Oak 8 years ago, and even in those 8 years, but you've been here from the beginning. And I think a lot of people would argue have set the tone for the restaurant industry in the city. What's that been like? Were you ever worried that you were going to do something that was ahead of the curve?
I'm very humble that you would say that we set the tone. I think we're so lucky to play a small part of it.
Oh, it's true.
I don't take that lightly, especially coming from you. Thank you. I think we were really lucky to find a city that had a huge tailwind and have people that, Nashville is 1 degree of separation. Like if you come to Nashville with the right intention, the whole city wants to open up for you.
Mhm.
As soon as I think they maybe realize you're full of shit, that door slams shut, which I think is a really great thing as well.
Amen.
But what's so great is when people want to come to Nashville, like yourselves or, like Kevin Boehm or Will Guidara, these other people that are now moving to Nashville and spending real time here, RJ Melman and Let Us Entertain You. We all welcome it and support it and want to see it do well, which I don't think is always the case in other cities. And so being in Nashville for the past 18 and a half years, I just pinch myself how lucky I am to be here. We have this $2 billion expansion that happened at the airport, and we're 2 hours from 70% of the population of the US. Like that's really lucky to think about the momentum we have with some of the greatest private institutions and companies like HCA that have created probably more family wealth than any other company I can think of. And then you have the background of music and incredible food and just people who are unbelievably kind. It's awesome. And one of the coolest things is my wife and I, she came to visit me 18 and a half years ago. She actually took the picture of my brother and I signing our contract together.
Oh, wow.
We broke up for 10 years, which is crazy. And then she felt bad for me and took me back. And now we're happily married with a boy and another boy due any minute, which is why my cell phone is sitting right here in case she calls going into labor.
God bless. Well, thank you for being here.
But she came to visit when she was, 19 years old. And she met someone in the airplane. She's like, oh, do you need a ride to where you're going? She was like, this guy's going to murder me. And I was like, no, that's just kind of Nashville. Nashville is an unbelievably kind city. And here we are 18 and a half years later. And I think that tone still exists. And I love seeing people come in from maybe other cities and they think they kind of have to have their guard up or feel like they have to act a certain way. And then they enter into the spirit of the party and they realize that Nashville is unbelievably competitive. It's world class at what it does. I would put it up against anything in the world, but it's done in a really kind way. And so as I've seen the progression of Nashville and incredible hospitality professionals or different companies wanting to come here, I think they enter into the spirit of the party. So for me, I welcome everyone who wants to do something exciting and good for Nashville, just as long as they're a good steward of the community. I was talking with RJ Melman yesterday. I went to visit him and see his new opening of Sushi San over in 12 South across from Locust. I was like, hey man, can we send you staff meal for your opening? Like that's the spirit. And he, even at Abba, his restaurant that opened, he was like, hey, we want to send staff meal to you guys. So just this real spirit of camaraderie exists. And in other markets, I think people maybe see it as competition. As long as you're a good human being doing something meaningful, I think the whole city and the people in it want to lift you up.
I remember when we first came and you were incredibly welcoming.
Awesome.
And no, I mean that. And it was interesting because about 2 months before, and I'm really bad at paraphrasing, but there was an article in the paper from the food writer who basically said the same thing. They were like, look, if you're a celebrity chef and you're going to slap your name on something, we're good. We have a food scene.
Yeah.
But if you want to come and be a part of the community, we're all, and that has been certainly true for us. But you were one of the first people, and I was really struck by that because Charleston is the same way. Might have its guard up a little bit more, but same thing. Michael Toscano, a great chef, came from New York, and he immediately dove into the community. He's doing really well. We've seen some other big names come from New York and not do well because of that very reason. But I just remember you saying, hey man, welcome, if I can do anything for you. And you didn't have to do that, and that was impressive.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I hope that still holds true today. Anything I can ever do.
I will be honest. I feel a little nervous that you have a condo over one of our restaurants in Alice Beach. I'm like, do we know what he looks like if he comes in the restaurant?
I can proudly say I've been there 5 times now, and every experience has been perfect.
Oh,
and,
thank God!
The whole
I'm gonna flat. I'm like Cullen Wyatt, who
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who's been with us for 12 years.
That's
It's crazy.
awesome.
He was the way he said, Max has a condo right upstairs. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, we've loved it, and I cherish my little 2-year-old. But sometimes as parents, you want a little break. And it's perfect where it's right downstairs, and it's like the perfect date night for my wife and I. And when we've gone in, we've sat at the bar most of the time, which is the perfect bar, and it's always been great. So anybody who's in that area has to go to that restaurant.
Good.
Yeah.
Going back to like scaling, because I talk to a lot of folks, what do you think internally? So forget the external circumstances of the market. What do you think has been the key to you and your brother's success?
Our people. I mean, I think that
How do you cultivate that?
It's a living, breathing organism. I think we fight for it every day, and I would give the shirt off my back or go to the mat for the people that I work with, and I'll also try to have radical candor and be direct when things I believe are wrong. And I love the team has a space where they'll push back and say, well, here's why we think it's right. And we always want the best idea to win. I think at our core, we're good people. And I think at our core, we want to take care of people, and we're in it for the right reasons. And so when we thought about scale, I say this phrase all the time, but slow is smooth, smooth is fast. We've definitely scaled faster than I would have thought 20 years ago. But we've been able to do it with unbelievable people and folks that we really have gotten to know pretty well and trust each other with, and try to create a culture where we empower them. I mean, we had this incredible event last night where Hermes had their opening, and it was one of our first huge catering jobs because we have a catering division we're launching. And my brother, I mean, I can't imagine the miles he put in yesterday, and our team did everything. And Andy Little and Josh and Jord, everybody just stepped up and did an incredible job. Our chief of staff, Jenny, like everyone was on it. And I'm at home with my wife, because she is, on the last stages of pregnancy, and unfortunately coughed and cracked a rib. So she's in pain. And I'm like, how can I just cater to you? So I missed the entire event. I just knew it was going to be great because the team was on it. And it's so cool. All the messages and feedback I've got today, that's 100% the people in the team. And I think that if we didn't have the right people in place, the trust, the systems and processes, and kind of the desire to keep doing meaningful things for the community, we wouldn't be doing it. And we don't ever open a place just for a cash grab.
Right.
That's never been our motivator. I find when you do that, you're probably not going to succeed. I think if you do it because you believe it would be a good value add for the community, you're personally excited about it, that's what gets us really excited. And we've done some smart things in real estate and some smart things in different aspects that are more financially driven in that regard, but it doesn't exist without the core of what we do and the hospitality we provide in the spaces. And so our motivating factor is always, how can we make sure the staff is excited about it, loves what we do, we're empowering the right people. And then, to quote my man Garth Brooks, we're not selling this show, we're selling the next one. So once we have them in this space, what are we doing to get the customers back? And at the same time, make sure the staff is having a shitload of fun and making the money that they need to feel great as well. But it's something we fight for every day.
Why do you think most operators get that wrong?
I never had the opportunity to work in a larger organization. I've been partners with my brother since 23, so I don't know if I can speak to other groups. I mean, I can give you a story of a cultural fit that I knew was going to fail in the restaurant, and unfortunately it did. We had a group, I'm not going to say who they were out of respect for privacy, sure. But I was so excited that they were coming to town. And so we organized kind of a tour of our restaurants for them and made sure that they got to meet the staff. And on the last meal, one of the partners handed his business card to every single one of our employees and said, if you ever want to chat, let us know. And I was like, man, if we're not doing our job and the staff wants to go to you, that's one thing. But to be so blatant about it, I think you're entering in the wrong way. And that's thesis shocking. Proved to be true. Yeah, like things like that, I think, are wrong. I think that when you try to manage a business purely from a P&L, which is important, it just doesn't typically go as well because we're in the people business. We're in the human component, and what we do is a race without a finish line. And so keep pushing, keep trying to improve every single day in your businesses. But if you're just managing from the P&L, I feel like you're probably going to fail.
I agree. That's a really shocking story. I mean, whenever we go to a new city, one of the first things I say is, do not hire a bunch of people from the same, like we're not here to, we're here to welcome them in, buy them dinner. Like we're not here to do that. Yeah. It's not hospitable.
Yeah. And if we're not doing our job in creating an environment where the staff wants to be, by all means, please go explore because I want what's best for the team. Yeah. But I think we create great environments where everyone can feel good about what they're doing financially. But if we're not, I don't hold a grudge on that at all. But to have someone come in so blatantly, I was like, okay, I don't know if this is going to work for you. And unfortunately it didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How do you think the industry, so you went through COVID. We all went through COVID.
Yeah.
I had been married 6 months, and I took my wife out on the beach and I sat her down and said, honey, I'm guaranteed on 23 leases and I owe the bank $12 million. I'm not really sure how this is going to go.
Yeah.
What was that process just getting, I mean, you mentioned the building and what do you think of, you got through that because you're here. You've grown. I have too. How has the industry changed for you?
Well, let me first say, like, you and I are the lucky ones, right? Like, I don't take that for granted at all. And so if I say anything here that sounds like COVID was tough, like there was so many people we know who didn't get through it. So I sit here with just unbelievable gratitude. For us, the unknowing obviously was brutal. And we did have to furlough basically, I mean, at that point, 978 employees.
We did too, 994.
And we called everyone personally. And we kind of divided it up with our leadership team. We called everyone and said, how can we help you navigate this? We set up a staff meal where they could come in and get food during this process. And so we kind of kept one of the kitchens going to provide that, which some of our staff, I think it was very helpful. We made sure that as soon as we came back online, everyone had the opportunity to come back. But it was unbelievably scary. And like still, I've got battle scars from that. To be shut down, to reopen, to be shut down again. Yeah. And, we had great partners who helped us kind of navigate a lot of things that were unknown at that point. We worked with a bank here that we did everything right on our big loan on our building. And then in a portfolio sale, they sold us overnight to a group. And we had 2 weeks to figure out how to cover and sunset our loan. Which almost bankrupted us. And luckily we navigated and got through it and ended up with a great outcome. But it sucked, man. It was so awful. And I think that, on the personal front, my wife just was unbelievable. I had the same kind of conversation, not on a beautiful beach, but on a walk.
Right.
And without me knowing, she stepped up and just did so much behind the scenes that I'll never forget. But for us, it was, okay, we're getting through this. How can we take this time and do everything we can to support the staff? And we made a policy to be the safest business we possibly could. And I was really led by my brother. He had the idea of like, let's just be the safest business. We really leaned into that and tried that. And then coming out of COVID, one, I have gratitude, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let me start there.
Yeah.
And so I think that my perspective really changed even more so to appreciate how lucky we are to do what we do. And then I also think we had to learn how to do more with less. And so the toughness of COVID, as brutal as it was, and how I hope to never go through it again, and I would never wish it upon any industry. We had just opened up a hotel, a live music venue, and and restaurants and bars, like everything that could be impacted was. But coming out of it, the team that we have, which we luckily navigated through COVID, is still with us today on our leadership side. I think we all got closer through the process. I think there's definitely some battle scar, trauma that we've survived together. And so, but I think really we learned how to do more with less.
Amen. During that period for me, one of the things that was kind of discouraging, it was actually the impetus for me starting a podcast. I have no goal other than to have positive conversations.
I was just excited to hang out with you, man. This is great.
Man. Like people are like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I just want to tell positive stories. I was with Katie Button in Nashville one night, and we were on a panel about something, and she was like, God, I'm so tired of the negativity in the food media.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we need to tell better stories. Why do you think our industry is often viewed? Because you are a person that loves it. You've thrived. You care about people. You know what your purpose is, right? Mine is the same way. Growth creates growth opportunities, more income. In a industry traditionally with a low compensation ceiling, we are able to equity partners. Why do you think people sometimes see our industry as not a real job, or you know what I mean? It's a very transitory business. We know that a good portion of our staff is not going to stay in hospitality. So why do you think that is, and how can we make that better?
I think for us, we try to create careers and not jobs for management and our leadership team. we try to really have things in place that have a clear growth path. And so I think that that side of it is really respected and is a great career and can create great quality of life and hopefully generational wealth for people. But I also recognize the fact that we do have folks that want to use this as a stepping stone to whatever their goal is. And so if we have somebody who wants to be a lawyer, a doctor, an architect, a musician, whatever it is, and we have this really beautiful moment in time with them in the service role, just create the best possible environment you can for them during that time. And one of the coolest things for me, and I was actually, as I was walking in, I was on a call with somebody about a different position. They keep us on their resume for a totally different role they're considering or different career. But because of the time they've spent with us, they keep us on their resume as a reference. And to me, that's one of the coolest things in the world. And so I think leaning into the people that really do want to have this as a career, who love it, and then creating the best environment you possibly can for people to financially do as well as they can in a great environment, have great memories when they are in that transition, and recognizing that there's a lot of beauty in that. And then hopefully they come back in their new career and have great memories of their time with us.
We have a saying called the Indigo Road boomerang effect, where people leave and then they come back. And,
Yeah.
and it's not an I told you so, but it is an affirmation of the culture that we built. Like,
Yeah.
We are a good place to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the thing you're most proud of?
My honest answer is watching my wife become a mother. That's my honest answer. On the personal side. On the professional side, I'm proud of a lot. Like, I'm really proud of so many things that the team has accomplished. But I think probably what I'm most proud of is that, one of the most important relationships in my life is I have one brother, and he happens to be my business partner. And we've been doing this together for almost 2 decades. And the fact that we can still laugh together at the end of the day,
right?
I'm probably more proud of that than anything else.
What's that like? Because I don't know. I don't have a brother. I have a sister, and we would kill each other if we worked together.
Oh, I'm not saying my brother doesn't want to kill me.
Yeah.
But, that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys have like a clear separation of duties? Like, you do this and I do that?
Yeah. I mean, for anyone listening, imagine, older, taller, better looking version of me. And that's my brother.
Okay.
My brother is absolutely the best operator I've ever met. He's so good at what he does. We implemented kind of this EOS training a year and a half ago. I don't know if you read Gino Wickman's book Traction, but great book. He is the implementer. I'm the visionary. And so I really try to drive new growth and new deals. And then he's actually the one that makes shit happen. And so out of the two of us, I'm definitely the more replaceable one in terms of the operational side. He's just flawless. And it took us a while to figure out those things where we still overlap all the time, and there's no decision that either of us will make without the other's support. But we've really tried to lean in the role of operations and growth. And I definitely am involved in operations, and he's absolutely involved in growth. But we really try to lean into those two things. And since we've implemented it, it's been really good.
What is the biggest reward for you that way, from an operational point of view?
I think that it gives clear direction to the team. I think it gives clear direction to us. I think that it allows for making sure right place, right seat, right person, right seat. And it's a living, breathing thing where we constantly talk about, like, do I need to switch to be the implementer? Do you need to be visionary? But it's kind of worked in this great way that since we've implemented it, it's been great for our company, great for us, and has allowed us a lot of great growth opportunities while not losing sight of what we have today.
Talk about building out your senior team. Has that been some trial and error, or has that?
Sure. I mean,
and I like to talk about on this. A lot of times it's all feel good, but for real operators, I think we don't talk about the business enough. In the media, in the larger media.
Yeah.
I always talk about how when art and commerce intersect, it can be painful.
Yeah.
And what we do is creative, but it also has to have a business component. As you were growing restaurants, how did you figure out, I need a director of this or a culinary that? Was that just kind of trial and error? We've
definitely made a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong.
We have too. Good Lord.
And I think that, to me, I don't love titles, but I understand why they're important. We've been really lucky that our team has kind of grown with us. Like, if you look at our leadership team, I bet the average tenure is 12 years. And out of a company that's been around for 18 and a half,
That's strong.
Pretty good. I think that for us, what we realized is as we grew and we found the people we wanted to grow with, we talked to them about what they wanted to do and say, you know, here's a role that maybe doesn't exist today, but we see where the puck is going and we want to skate that way instead of where the puck is today. Will you come with us on this journey? And I look around, and I was on a call on the way over here with my chief of staff, Jenny, who's been with me for 14, 15 years.
Wow.
And she's really the glue that keeps our company together. And then before that, I was on with our director of communications, Jordan, who started with us as an intern, and then was actually started with us as a server, then intern, and then came to me and asked me for a referral because there was a company she was applying to. And I said no. And she kind of looked at me and I was like, I don't want you going to another company. So we created a job for her.
Right.
And then she's grown within our company, and she's been with us for 14 years. And Josh Habiger, who's one of the greatest human beings on the planet, who created Bastion that we get to be a part of, he's now a partner in everything we do. He's been with us for like 17 years. I mean, it's wow. And there's a lot of those stories. You know, Camille, our chief operating officer, I think is coming up on 9 years. I mean, it could just go on. It's crazy to think about these things. Then when we have new people who come in on the leadership team, I think they kind of see the deep care and love we have for each other. And also we all love what we do. And so I think that it's evolved a little bit with the team telling us where they want to see their careers going, and then us making sure that it's the right seat for them.
What's the most out of the box position? I created a chief culture officer.
Yeah.
Just someone to be the culture police.
Yeah.
What's the most out of the box creative position you've created?
Well, I didn't create this, but my favorite title was by this incredible woman, Mondrivia, and her title was Director of All Things Random, which I thought was like the greatest title ever.
And what does what does she do? All Things Random?
I have no idea. I think for us, in terms of like random creative positions, we're so fortunate that we have a lot of inbound requests on things. And so we've just hired someone to help us really streamline that process, and excited for that growth piece. You know, we've got a great culinary ops director who we get to, I mean, we have these great positions that people have really evolved and grown into. But in terms of a random position, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to be director of all things random.
You win.
I think that's it. Well, she wins. I just get to tell the story.
We were talking a little bit before we started about growth, and I know for me, and I talk about this a lot on the podcast because I'm always interested to hear people's different takes. You know, when you grow, I think there can be an assumption that the quality, they're just interested in growing, those kind of things. And I always talk about the benefits of a group, mm-hmm. what we can provide for our employees, you know.
Sure.
Other than growth, what do you think some of the things that strategic hospitality, like what are the things that you've done for your employees that your growth has allowed you to create?
I mean, I think the biggest one is giving real equity to our chef partners, where we've been so lucky that they've come to us with their ideas, and we get to empower them and partner with them and allow them just to focus on the creative, the guest experience, what actually hits the plate, and then use the resources of the team to be able to do the things that maybe aren't as fun, in the insurance, overseeing budgets, making sure payroll is hit, making sure taxes are, I mean, all those different things. They can just focus on what they're doing, and to be able to have real partners that we own these restaurants with, that it's really their vision that we're humbled and lucky to be a part of, has been huge for us. I also think that, sure, we have the 401k and the benefits program, sure. All the things, but we also try to create a culture where we all support and love each other. And I know that that's such like a, you know, grandiose thing to say.
No,
but
it's not. Not if you mean it. It's not.
I would love to think that every single one of the people I'm lucky to work with would call me for something, and I would drop whatever I'm doing to make sure that they feel supported the same way they would do that for me. And so in terms of what we provide, sure, very, very fun stuff, a great environment, a great culture to work with, and then a real passion for growth that they get to be a part of. I mean, outside of what we have now, we have a lot of active projects that they're all touching. And so it's not just, let's focus on the shiny new object because we have to be great at what we're doing today, but there are things down the road that could be there for the team. And so I think knowing that there is growth and that there is creativity, and we're not I think maybe if we were smarter, we'd open up the same thing over and over again, but we're not.
Right.
We keep doing different things. I think they love the fact that there's always going to be this creative push that we all get to be a part of.
What was your wildest creative idea that came true and was a home run?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think one of the things that I'm most proud of, and you said home run, so maybe this like struck something for me, but we were fortunate to do the bandbox at the right field of the baseball stadium. And we created something that people really enjoyed and liked, and outperformed what budgets were going to be. And so Frank Ward, the owner of the team, who's a great friend, his boys are incredible, Tim and Chris, they came to us after the second or third season. They said, well, what do you want to do next? And I didn't know what next was even an option. And I had this crazy idea of taking this dark, unused, grassy patch behind the bandbox. And I said, let's create a miniature golf course. And they kind of looked at me and I was like, but let's do it as a public art piece. And let's go to all these different local artists and let's find art that they could put in. So they basically canvas for them is the hole, and a mini golf course designer, which is a real job that I want one day, created the functional mini golf course. And in each hole, we went to these local artists, and thanks to Frank and the team, we had real budgets to actually have them build these art pieces. And it's everyone from Herb Williams to Sasha Kawinga to this fish boy piece that's incredible, to these amazing, like, it was just such a cool process to see kind of take place. It paid itself back pretty quickly, and we essentially created this public art gallery. And to me, mini golf is like pizza. It's just a great equalizer. And so everyone enjoys mini golf. Like, I'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't enjoy mini golf.
Right.
But then you're forced to read about the art and the artists as you go through, and the story of what they did and why they had the hole. And when we first opened up, I'd watch, and kids would go through and then ask about the art afterwards. And it was just so cool. And Oz Arts, the board that I've been fortunate to serve on for almost a decade now, really partnered with us on this to help us source some of these artists. And then the kids follow up and ask questions about it. It has nothing to do with food or drink or baseball, but it's like hospitality and art in its purest form. And it's in a minor league baseball stadium. That's pretty out there.
This is where I go, God, there's so many more smart people in the world than me. That's brilliant.
Well,
that's incredible. No, that I love that. What was, we briefly talked about this. You and I have both had restaurants that didn't work. And I know for me, it can rattle the confidence. Because of my journey with addiction and all the things that I went through, there's still this pretty large imposter syndrome where I'm like, God, should I really be here? And a failure will send that into overdrive in a big way. Like, I'm an idiot. I'm a fraud. What is it like for you, and what do you learn when something doesn't work?
Yeah. And I sit across from you, and you're one of the more successful people in our industry. And so it's wild for me to hear you say the imposter syndrome, because, by the way, I feel the same way.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm one decision away from blowing it all up.
Absolutely. And I look around at some of the peers I'm lucky enough to get to know now, and I'm like, man, I look photoshopped into this group. So for me, I definitely think I learned more from failure than I do success. And I could talk about the thousands of failures that I'll have this week, which I make every single week and every single day. I think if you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself as hard as maybe you should. But the big,
I may steal that.
Please do.
Yeah, I may steal that.
I can't be the first person that said that, but we had a great French restaurant, and it was in a second generation space. We brought in an unbelievably talented chef. The design was incredible. The vibe was awesome. I was like, we're going to create one of the greatest things the city's ever seen. And we brought in a chef who wanted 3 Michelin stars, which would be incredible.
Right.
We wanted a French bistro playing French hip hop and louder and boozier and darker. And we kind of just screwed it up. We'd never really nailed either one. And it was so great. And we did get our footing about a year in, and we were lucky to have a chef, Brian Lee from Petit Toit come in and help us stabilize. And we're now partners with him and Kisser and Baby Chan. He was at Catbird and Bastion with us. He's incredible. I think if we could have stuck to our intuition of like, hey, this needs to be a fun French bistro, we would have stood a pretty good chance. But I think we lost sight of what our North Star was. And so one of the commitments my brother and I made to each other was like, hey, when we align on a new project with that chef partner and with the management team and everything, we can't lose sight of that North Star. And I definitely think it can be death by a thousand cuts where, okay, well, we can change this one little thing. It's not gonna make that much of a difference than this and this. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're bleeding out. And that should have worked. Like, it was such a good spot. And I have so many people still to this day will come up and say, man, we love La Salle. It was this great little French spot. What happened there? I'm like, I just think we lost sight of what we set out to do. And I think if we were also a little ahead of our time, I think, for what Nashville wanted and was ready for. I think if we opened it today, it would be great.
Right.
But it was a bummer not to see that work. And it definitely still haunts me a bit. But I'm so lucky that we have all these other great things going on that I try to put it behind me and keep moving forward.
What is it about entrepreneurs? We only think about what's wrong. I have to remind my team some days because, we're putting out fires and I'm like, I'll ask our senior team, who have you told is doing a good job today?
Yeah.
And I say that not only for them, but for you, because you need to remember 15% of what we're doing is not working.
Yeah.
85%. Why do you think we can't focus on the 85? I don't know about you, but for me, that's the same kind of thing.
I think I'm the eternal optimist, but also someone who constantly is like, well, I would get 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, there's 97 other reviews. And they're like, you focus on that one. A mentor of mine from college, this guy, Carl Johnson, who's still a mentor for me today, he taught me we are what we celebrate. And so one of the things I really try to lean into is celebrating team wins and then calling out misses and having that radical candor. But when we have our level 10 kind of weekly meeting, I have started something where I say, what fills you up and what grinds you? And is there a clearing of the air we need to have in this meeting with everyone? And I make everyone say, like, hey, what was a highlight for you? Like, what's charging you up right now? Because I don't think we celebrate it enough. I think sometimes you're just so focused on pushing ahead or finding fault to see what you can improve upon. We should take a minute to celebrate. And I think you have to take the misses and where we can improve and absolutely focus on that. But I also think that if we don't take a minute to celebrate how incredible it is that we get to do the things we do with the people we do it with, you're going to wake up and be 80 years old and be like, what the hell did I miss here?
What did I miss?
Yeah.
Did you read the book Radical Candor?
I don't know if I have, actually.
Okay.
Maybe I need to.
No, well,
I'll put it on my list.
You're using that, and it's a powerful book.
Yeah.
It's all about, having honest, direct conversations and the power of that.
Well, I think one of the most disrespectful things you can do to your team is not being direct and honest with them and expecting a different result or creating resentment over something. I mean, if you don't give the guidance or create an environment where they can give guidance back to you, I love being told I'm wrong.
Me too.
I mean,
I crave it.
And my team tells me that often, by the way.
Yes, me too.
And if they ever don't, I'm like, this maybe I'm not doing what I need to be doing here. But I think out of respect for the people you work with, you have to have that direct conversation because it's never going to change if you don't.
Do you find, that was a great point that you get. Do you struggle at all with cultivating? So I crave feedback, honest feedback. And I don't often get it. Not because I don't want it. It's because, well, you're the big boss. Nobody wants to. And a lot of it I'm told is, well, we don't want to disappoint Dad. And I'm like, you're not going to disappoint. How have you cultivated that environment where people really do feel safe? Because I think also that's a big piece of that. Like you and your brother are the guys. Has that been hard for you to cultivate, or is it?
I mean, I hope not. I hope that the team does feel like they can always have that direct communication. I think our attitude is let the best idea win. And, I'll take information and sometimes it takes me a day to sleep on it. But I think ultimately a decision has to be made. But I also want the best idea to win. And we create a culture where we want everyone to speak up and make sure that their voices are heard. And it's not they're heard and not listened to. Like if it's not the idea we're going with, we communicate on why not. But I mean, even early this morning, I was talking with Andy Little, who's our culinary operations director. He's one of the most talented, incredible human beings. And I was just ranting about all these things I want to do at the airport. And he quietly listened and then corrected me on why we're not going to do that. I was like, you know what? You're right. And I love that. I love that we have that relationship.
I do too.
And if I ever just was dictating and not creating a dialogue, I probably should be doing something else.
I feel the same way. You say best idea wins. I say I don't need to be right. I just need to be successful.
Yeah.
So whoever, whatever's going to get us there.
Yeah. And by the way, my team has exponentially better ideas than I do. Sometimes I'll ask something that will maybe prompt a different thought. And I love creating like some fun opportunities and new developments. But man, like even Camille, our chief operating officer, when she starts speaking, I find myself just listening a little bit more, the same with all of our leadership team, but it's just, they've got great ideas and we want to create a space for them to be able to voice them.
I love that. Tell me about the Aspen Institute, because, I'll use my daughter's social media terms, FOMO.
Yeah.
You did a fellows program.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yes. The Henry Crown Fellowship.
What is that? How did you get into that?
Yeah. So remember what I said earlier, like I felt photoshopped into a group, never more so than with the Henry Crown Fellowship. It's by far the best thing I've ever done professionally, personally. I mean, other than wife and children, I mean, it's introduced me to the greatest group of people who are all like family at this point. I got introduced to it from a great friend, Jenny Brittenbauer, who created Jenny's Ice Cream.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She was a fellow.
Salty caramel.
And,
all the way.
And she introduced me to it. And I applied, and they have thousands of people apply every year for like 20 spots. I don't know how I got in, again, photoshopped into the group, but their real push is from success to significance, and how to take people who are maybe at this inflection point in their life of what they can do to be more meaningful in the world. And you go in and you have these incredible readings and different activities and thought discussion with people who are completely different from you in every sense of the word. And you have these hard conversations, but then at the end of the day, you can sit and have a coffee and talk. Whereas a lot of times that just doesn't happen. And they have this incredible mosaic of curating just some of the most interesting and dynamic people who have been such a gift to me personally and professionally. And they're some of the smartest, most successful people that I never should have met. And now they're like family to me.
That's inspiring.
Yeah. Anyone who is interested in it, I could not recommend doing it more. I mean, it was definitely one of the most powerful things I will ever do in my life.
Oh, I'm already like, I'm on it. I'm going to swing at it.
Yeah.
Do you find that we talk and Will, our mutual friend who was here earlier today, when you're the guy that everybody comes to ask for the answer, right? Do you ever feel like, well, who am I supposed to call to answer my questions? Maybe having your brother there, because I've heard other people say, and I feel lonely sometimes as the figurehead, right? Yep. Do you ever go through that?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think there can be a loneliness to what we do, and being in a position where ultimately someone has to make that final decision. I have the benefit of I have my brother and I have Josh. And so the three of us can bounce every idea off of each other. We also create an environment to have that conversation with the entire leadership team, but Josh and Benjamin are partners in everything. And so to have that has been powerful. I also joined this organization called YPO, and I've got my business forum, and then I have a restaurant hospitality focus forum as well. And that's been such a gift to me, where we can go in and we all compete in the same industry, but we all share what's going on, challenges we face. And to have those guys as a sounding board has been so powerful for me. And, Fred Castellucci, who opened Iberian Pig here, doesn't think anymore. He's the one who kind of brought me into it. And so to have those guys as well, and have a safe space where you can have tough conversations or be vulnerable, which I try to do within the own team, but there are certain things that, are more appropriate in that environment. That's been huge for me. And then again, having partners in Benjamin and Josh is such a gift.
That's great. I think I'm too old for YPO at this point, but I've heard it's a great organization. What's your hope for the hospitality industry as you look forward, having come through these last, call it 5 years, knowing you're going to continue to grow? We are too. What is your hope for the industry?
I think we're at this pretty interesting moment where a lot of people in other industries are concerned about this AI revolution that's happening and the impact it's going to have on jobs. And I definitely think we're going to see in our industry an impact from AI. I mean, we're already using those tools today, but we are a people business, right? And I love that Maya Angelou quote that people may not remember what you said or what you did, but always how you made them feel.
Yep.
You're not going to feel much if you just go in and you have service and not hospitality. So even if robots can replace servers, you're not going to have hospitality.
Right.
So I actually think our industry is in an unbelievable position to thrive right now.
I
think that there's never been a bigger moment in time where people want and need that connection. And my wife read this book, The Anxious Generation. And it was one of the most terrifying books to think about, especially with young children. So to take that away and actually try to have people put their phones down, and going back to what we started this conversation with was, using food and drink as a vehicle for conversation and creating environments where, the coolest thing you and I get to do is we get to be part of people's lives.
That's right.
And when people come up to me and they're like, oh, I got married at Paradise Park, which I was an ordained reverend for, which is another story. Or I had somebody yesterday say, the best bite of food I've had in 5 years was at your restaurant. And again, it's the team's restaurant that I get to be a part of, but those are the coolest moments for me. And so what do I want for the hospitality industry is I want it to thrive. And I want great people who are passionate about what they do to go out and just crush it and create generational wealth for their families. I'd love to see more opportunities for chef partners to have equity in real estate and create a different asset investment that could be something that is a generational piece for them. So that's something we're working on right now. I'd love to see the continued push to make sure that we have diverse representation across all aspects of life and see all different people celebrated for their passions and exposure to backgrounds that maybe weren't as celebrated before. I love that is happening right now. I want to continue to see the mental health push and focus of instead of having 9 drinks after a shift, maybe have 1 or 2 and then wake up and get that exercise in the morning, take the time for meditation, take the time for reading, and have a ton of fun in our industry, but also never lose sight of how important it is to have that mental and physical health. But I'm unbelievably optimistic about what's happening. I think that there's such a desire at a national level to see independent places do well. I have a real excitement for that. I don't think that was always the case. And so excited to see where when we go to travel to places, when I go to Charleston or I go to Alice Beach, we're finding great, and I still think of us as local operators, even though you have 1,000 restaurants and a ton of different places. Yeah.
I don't have 1,000.
But I am really excited about that. And I also think that the curiosity of food, people are really excited about, and they want to push and find the new things. I recognize the importance of social media and what it does for our industry, but I sometimes wish people would just put their phones down and enjoy the moment that they're in. And so I hope that we'll see more of a change for that. But I don't know if there's ever been a more exciting time to be in hospitality than there is right now.
I agree. I think you have to be optimistic to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
To want to grow and try new things. What is that word? And you literally, I quote the Maya Angelou quote in our culture meetings, and we're so cut from the service versus hospitality. We're so cut from the same cloth. What does that word hospitality mean to you?
Man, that's a great question. Probably warmth and kindness, and people really feeling recognized and seen and taken care of. But the one common thread I hope we have in all of our places, whether it's a burger at the airport or a chef's tasting restaurant at Catbird, is warmth and an appreciation from the team that you're there. It's very easy to go pick a different place or stay at home. And so if we're lucky enough to have someone come in, let's create that hospitality moment where they feel seen and appreciated and feel that warmth and kindness. And the only people I really can't work with, and I had a bad reputation back in the day as Max the Axe, because I'd fire people on the spot, of anyone who made someone feel like they were lucky to be there. That's the one thing I can't tolerate.
I can't stand that.
And for me, I just think hospitality can embody so many things, but my gut reaction is warmth and kindness and making sure people feel seen and taken care of.
I always say indifference is the enemy of hospitality.
Yeah.
That you're lucky to be there vibe. I cannot stand. Ugh.
Well, you got 38 restaurants. What's a great hospitality moment that's happened for you in the past little clip that you can just put your head on your pillow and smile a little bit?
That's a great.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions.
You're allowed to do whatever you want. You're Max Goldberg. Max, when I see an employee, internal hospitality, when I see them discover how rewarding this can be,
Mm-hmm.
and how being in service to others is rewarding, and it's not just I'm going to do this till I figure out what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to stay here. There is nothing. The only other thing that's more rewarding is Ben's friends and watching somebody come in completely shattered and broken.
Yeah.
And to watch the light come back to their eyes and to watch them, that kind of sense of purpose. I mean, that obviously is a life and death issue, so that trumps. But yeah, it's watching, it's having employees come up, and when we open a restaurant, I call it coffee and culture, and I do it at our existing restaurants too. And I just talk about our values and who we are. And I give everybody my cell phone. Every employee has my cell phone number. And I say, if we're ever not doing this, call me.
Yeah.
To watch in a new opening, to hear like, I had given up on the industry. I've been in a toxic work environment. Yeah. And for them, and this is even pre-opening, I came here because of the way you interviewed me. Mm-hmm. I've never had anybody treat me with kindness and respect in an interview like you have.
Yeah.
That's when I feel like I'm making a difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And to do that in 38 places is pretty insane, man.
Well, we're trying. I mean, that is the goal, right? So, again, Kevin and Bame and I talked about this. Money is not the goal; it's the byproduct. Mm-hmm. The Steve Palmer grand experiment is, can you take a small company with a great culture and grow it into a big company with a great culture? Can you not lose the soul of who you are? And so that is I have a high sensitivity when there's any sort of disruption. Mm-hmm. And when I hear, all you care about is growing, that will stop me dead in my tracks. And I'm not defensive about it. I'm like, well, let's talk about that. Yeah. Why are you? We're obviously not giving you what you had hoped for, because we don't just care about growth.
Right.
But yeah, that's the grand experiment. Can you keep doing this? Can you keep finding people that have what you have and what I have, and that believe we're making a difference?
I love it. Can't wait to get back to one of your restaurants now, man.
I know, man.
Yeah.
2 more questions, and then I'll let you go, because you're about to have a baby. That's crazy.
By the way, my wife literally cracked a rib the other night coughing, and is so, like, I don't know if this is an appropriate thing to say, but like, women are just so much tougher than men. In every sense of the word.
Oh my God, they're so much tougher.
And my wife is handling a cracked rib, like, while 9 months pregnant, chasing around a 2.5-year-old. And so if she's listening to this, I hope she is resting in bed, whenever this thing comes out, and still recovering. But yeah, very excited. Another boy, growing the family, nothing better.
Two questions. Yep. I have trend questions that I got to ask you. What are you afraid of? The PR people want to, at this time of the year.
Yeah.
What do you think next year will be? But first off, what are you afraid of, and what are you most proud of?
I am afraid of a lot more inventory entering the market without maybe as many people coming in. I worry that the clip may be higher. I think that we're really fortunate that we've got butts in seats, and we're grateful for every single one of them. I worry that people may be excited about the new, and they should support that, but just make sure we don't forget about the ones that really got us to where we are.
Amen. Amen.
And not that I'm afraid of it, I'm just aware of it. And I think that there's people like Tandy Wilson or Pat Martin or Cleo Arnold or Margot. I mean, not that they need more business, but like, they really helped create this magical thing we have in Nashville. And so, they're very busy, but I just would never want to think that anything could be impacted that wouldn't keep them that way. And so that would be a fear. And then what am I most excited about? Mm-hmm. Well, personally, obviously, new son. I mean, what's better than that? Unless he's a total jerk, but I don't think he will be.
I think
he'll take after his mother. It'll be fine. What am I most excited about? God, God, there's a lot in Nashville. Like I'm so excited to be seeing some of these groups come in, like Kevin, who I just think the world of from Boca and what he's doing, and RJ Melman and Lettuce and what they're doing, and then Jeremy Sassoon opening Prime and Proper in Nashville Yards, and all these folks coming to Nashville. I'm really excited about that. I'm so excited for the momentum that we see at the airport, which I get to have like a front row seat to see all the new things coming in. I think our Titan Stadium is going to be the greatest stadium in the history of the NFL, and so excited for what's happening with that. And then just really excited to keep doing cool shit with great people, which is, we've got a lot of growth that we haven't announced yet. That's coming. And the fact that
is it all here in Nashville?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. But the fact that I can even say we're growing, that's unbelievable. I'm so excited that almost 20 years into this thing, we can say we're still growing. That is probably what I'm most excited about.
Cool. Well, we have a gift for you.
Oh, wow.
We're going to keep the camera rolling.
Oh, cool.
This is a big ass.
Have to give to you.
Yep. Cast iron from
sweet.
Smithy. They are a Charleston-based company.
Oh my God, thank you.
And your name is on the back of the
No way.
on the back of the paint.
Oh my God, thank you so much,
You're
man.
welcome.
I appreciate it. I will
Thank you,
cherish
Max.
this. This is
And
awesome.
good luck and congrats on the new baby.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening to Say Grace. If you like what you heard, share it with a friend. We're on all the major platforms. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Say Grace, Food for Thought and Hospitality. We hope you join us next time as we continue to dive deeper into the inspirational stories about the transformative power of hospitality.